the type of rash response that causes like immediate hives is more often than not an IgE mediated food allergy, which is that stereotypical food allergy we think of that requires an EpiPen and needs to go get a test at an allergist, those kind of things. So if you're dealing with a hive response, I recommend going down the allergist route, get a test, figure out what it is too, if you need an EpiPen, that kind of thing. Now on the other side, the eczema response, so we're talking about like red, flaky, inflamed. It's not always flaky, sometimes it's just like red and inflamed, very commonly on the face, very commonly in the creases of the baby, on the trunk, can be anywhere on the body, but those are just like super common flare spots for these reactivity issues. These are atopic dermatitis, and this technically falls in the middle. This is a mixed food reactivity issue. It can be IgE or non-IgE. This can be related to food, and research shows that for these kiddos who are under 5 who are navigating an eczema response, about half of them have foods that will cause them to flare, cause that eczema to be worse. My oldest was absolutely one of these kiddos. Her skin was so bad at one point that it was like weeping and infected. We had mittens on her all the time because she would scratch. It was awful, it was a nightmare, and it was food related. The other half of these kiddos can have mimicking factors to food, meaning that in this particular case, oftentimes it is environmental. So think mold. For some kiddos, we may confuse like a heat rash with eczema response, but others think like dander, pollen, pets, and dust mites and others. So those are potential environmental factors that can cause skin reactivity that can mimic what we might think of as a food issue that we need to go down an elimination diet for. Controlling for some of those factors can be harder. Some of the recommendations that I can make is one, to definitely be like tracking, like, hey, does it change when we like go visit Nana's house, right? Do we see an impact if we got it a really good air filter? One of the things that I like to look at it when I'm comparing, like, are we more likely dealing with environmental or not, is where on the body is it? So for example, it is common for me to see the baby's trunk is reactive, but then right where their diaper is not, and then back where their pants is, it is. It isn't uncommon then for us to find that the detergent that that kiddo is using is oftentimes what's causing the reactivity there. So that's an example of an environmental, and kind of looking at like where and why and how that can help us differentiate mimicking factors versus these like actual food reactivity issues that we might be navigating.